One Piece chapter 1146, guys. I'm excited. We are still on Yamato's golden pilgrimage, which, dude, look, how long is this going to go on? Like, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Like, I'm kind of blown away that we're this deep into it. What number is this right now? Volume 31. Like, for real, how many volumes do y'all think we're going to get of this? Because, like, this is a genuinely large story. And it seems like Yamato's obviously going around and, like, building his crew. So we're going to have the new Wano pirates in whatever capacity that they end up calling them. That's absolutely what's going on here. But, like, how many more members do we need to go, like, tap in with? This is interesting. You'll bet Zoro is the best match for Gunko because he's directionally challenged. Oh my god, I actually love that. Like, I know you're, like, low-key memeing, but at the same time, you very well might be right about that. That's actually crazy. That's actually crazy. I do feel like Robin could help him pretty well, but at the same time, dude, and I've said this a couple times, outside of the monster trio, I don't think that these guys really stand a chance against the Holy Knights. In my opinion, based on the power scale we've been shown so far, they shouldn't stand a chance. Because if you make it to the level of Holy Knight, you got to be some level of lit. Earlier in this chapter, we were shown that Gunko, which is fair to assume all these Holy Knights will have the ability to regenerate the way the Gorosei do it. So, like, if you're not fighting on the highest level, I can't imagine you being able to stand a chance against any of these guys. And in my opinion, that is every single Straw Hat except for Sanji, Zoro, and Luffy, unfortunately. We do have players like Loki in the field who I think will be able to do some stuff. I don't think Saul's going to be able to, I mean, obviously Saul can't do anything here. Saul is outright losing this fight. Like, and we didn't even get to see it. 90% of this fight was off screen. We're just getting Saul falling over into a bushel of thorns. Like, it's just super, super bad. So, honest to God, I would say Saul is making the right call to tell Robin and Chopper to hide because they're going to die if they don't hide. Like it's going to be bad for them. I don't think they're going to make it. Like, from his time in the Navy, he's probably heard about the Holy Knights. Also, notice how Brook knew what was higher than Celestial Dragons and about them. That's actually a really good point, dude. That's a super good point. Brook being able to like specifically point that out to us is crazy. I tend to forget this all the time, and it's easy to. Brook is just so much damn older than everybody, so he really has been around a long time, so he has a lot of ability to know about these things, or just more potential to know about these things. But it is crazy that he was like, you know, you speak like a Celestial, and Jinbei jumped on that too. But it's interesting that Jinbei didn't jump straight to Holy Knight. Like, you'd also assume that Jinbei would know about it, right? With, like, the level of him getting to Warlord, at least, in the government. I feel like, are the Holy Knights an incredibly secret organization? I mean, I'm sure they're not commonly known through the entire world, but, like, at this level, you know about them probably, right? And maybe I'm assuming the wrong thing. I'm not going to hold you. I mean, maybe I'm just wrong on that. That's a good point. But what's Brook's history with them? Doubt he heard about them floating around a triangle for 50 years. Exactly. That's definitely not when he learned about it. I do like your point of, like, Saul having been, like, high up in the Navy, though, and for that reason, him, like, that is why Saul is like, dude, like, stay hidden. Like, do not engage this guy. You're gonna lose. It's gonna be bad. It's also the beginning of the fights. They're gonna get serious later on. Exactly, dude. This is the super early bit of it. These fights are gonna get way worse, way fast. Also, Saul would never be able to see Robin get hurt. That's facts. Saul will defend Robin to the death every single time. I mean, literally. How tragic is this? This is about to be the worst arc for Robin ever, while it's also her best arc ever. We land on this island. She gets to see Saul, a father figure to her. She gets to see him. She gets to explore this awesome library. She gets to see that what was burned down on Ohara was actually retrieved. So her people's history is there, and this is all lovely. And then literally within, like, minutes, basically, Saul starts getting attacked, and he is basically on his deathbed already again. And now all Robin can do is hide in Saul's hair and listen to it happen. This is diabolical, dude. Don't know how or why you get this vibe. You think Zeus could be a key to zombie Big Mom type thing. Now at this point, we not only have Zeus, but last chapter we also have, like, this shield who has is like a homie that Big Mom created, like, years ago when she was on Elbaf, like when she was younger. And he's still existing there. So, honest to God, I just don't think Big Mom's dead. Like, Oda refuses to actually kill people. I just don't think she's dead. I think she's effectively out of the story, but I don't think she's dead. So, I'm still kind of stuck on what I think about if Big Mom's abilities can work outside of her being alive or not. Because I'm leaning towards low-key, they probably do work, even if she's technically not alive anymore. Could Zeus be a Horcrux, like from Harry Potter? Just like her putting a small piece of her soul in something so that can't exist elsewhere. Which means that he could low-key be used to resurrect Big Mom, which then we could lean into the Big Mom theory, or like the zombie Big Mom thing that you're saying, Mel. That'd be kind of crazy. if we end up collecting all the homies to resurrect Big Mom because we need something from her, and dying doesn't always mean powers go away, like Boas, you're right. I mean, if that was the case, then Big Mom would have 2 sons following her around, since Mother Carmel made a son called Pandora from Big Mom's childhood rage and Elbaf in her first food rage, but we never see that son anywhere after Big Mom ate Mother Carmel. That's a really good point there, dude. I really appreciate you you pulling that one out. We don't have any solid confirmation because Oda won't give us confirmation on if anyone dies or not. I'm not gonna lie, I'm just kind of like a little frustrated with him like death baiting 100% of deaths in this. So like we just don't have a way to know until we are just so directly told it's insane, which kind of drives me nuts. But yeah, I think the next really interesting thing for us to point out and look at here is really just the last thing that Somers said right here. Talking about how like, you know, they should be warring races and just how disappointed he is by them. But they're supposed to work as mercenaries in service of them. That's their goal. I think the big piece of information we got here is Gunko mentioning the fact that the decision that the Giants make is going to heavily dictate the way the war goes, and this war is inevitable, which obviously we know the war is inevitable, but I can understand how the world doesn't know about this war necessarily happening, because again, this is all happening in a really short amount of time, and it's not all being publicized the way it should be. It's being publicized more now, but not to the degree that we obviously have information as readers. And then, you know, so whatever side the Giants choose is going to dictate the way the war goes. And then Somers confirming here that he expected the Giants to work as mercenaries for them. But then stupid Harold had to go and screw it all up. What I'm taking from this, it sounds like Harold was beginning to work with the world government and trade with them or open up their borders with them or whatever it may be. We don't inherently know what he was going to do with them, but we do know that somehow, some way, the world government was trying to get him to ally with them, of course. So maybe Harold got to a point where like they had come to an agreement, but maybe Loki made it through to him, being like, bro, what are you doing? You're going to mess up all these things that we have going for us in Elbaf. Like, you can't do this. And then maybe Harold did decide, wait, maybe I am messing up. Maybe this is like a dumb play for me, and decided to go back on his word that he gave to the Holy Knight / world government. And that is what got King Harold killed specifically. And he was probably killed by a Holy Knight. It very well could be like Somers or have been Shamrock. We don't know. Could be one of the ones that we haven't met yet. But he got killed by them. And I think Loki still got framed. Now, to add in what Jet said in the Discord, his theory of potentially Gunko having been there during that fight with like King Harold and Loki, and Gunko redirecting Loki's attack to kill Harold. I really like that idea. And it kind of goes along with what I just said of it could have been any number of Holy Knights there. I truly don't think Gunko has ever been the one really like pushing the narrative for them. She seems more of like a grunt than a leader. So I could see Somers being the one actually having negotiations with King Harold, and maybe Gunko standing there on the side as just backup, or like, you know, learning and understanding the ways of the Holy Knights. Like you said there, Jet, could have been the arrow user before her as well. Very possible as well. Very possible. Harold was a traitor for sure. That's why the new gen Giants are weak and fearful. I mean, honestly, I kind of feel you on that, dude. I wouldn't say they're fearful per se. I mean, I really do think that it's an important culture change, that they just stopped focusing on the simple fact of war. But damn, actually, I digress though, Dante. You are right. I mean, like, from what we've been shown, Elbaf is getting completely and utterly overrun by these 3 people. These 3 people, if the Straw Hats weren't there, would solo Elbaf. Elbaf stands literally no chance. Those giant monsters, I mean, the only giants that we've seen actually be able to stand up against anything have been Dorian Bragi, and then obviously we have Skopper Gaban as well. Could it have been Shamrock, since Loki seemed to hate him already? I would argue that it's most likely Shamrock, who was originally there during the King Harold incident, we can call it. Why do they need them? Just fodder? There is more to this. What do you mean? Why do they need the kids? My biggest argument on why does the world government want the kids is because that is what the world government has done the whole time. And then this chapter gave me more fuel to this particular fire. So with the simple fact of them consistently capturing kids to try to indoctrinate them and put them on their side one way or another. I still personally fully believe that Gunko is one of those kids specifically. She was taken from a low position and given god-like authority as long as she just follows the orders of the world government and executes Imu's will. With that being said, she also confirmed in this chapter that the Giants choosing like whatever side they choose is going to make the biggest difference in the war, and the world government obviously wants the Giants on their side. A good way to get them on their side is, I mean, well, not a good way, but a last resort way, if this isn't working, you know, traditional means are not working, is to steal their kids, indoctrinate those kids, and then create your own giant race within the world government itself. So they have, like, you know, we have multiple races of giants all around the world right now. One, if the world government succeeded in taking enough of these kids where they could have them, and I hate to say it like this, but just use them to make more giants, and those giants have all been born within a celestial situation, and then they could all be perfectly indoctrinated to fight the fight for the world government. And they'd be even better off if they could get someone with heavy ancient giant blood in there so they could be even stronger. So I think it just makes a lot of sense that the world government simply wants giants on their side in all possible ways. They even were using normal kids as science experiments to turn them into giants. So like they absolutely are very much obsessed with the giants in general. You know, I want to touch on the Usopp thing, actually. I can't believe it, but I'm going to give Usopp some flowers here. Nami throws the first attack. Usopp throws the second attack here. Like, that's actually really, really impressive. And he lands a direct hit on her. I guess she knows that she can tank hits, so it's not, like, really that impressive that he landed a hit because she was just prepared to take it. But of course, she has like the ultimate Gorosei healing powers, so you know, there's not much Usopp's even going to be able to do. But I gotta give him some damn praise. I really do. Homie shot 2 direct shots at her. He stood and fight, not like he could really run away if he wanted to. But I'm proud of Usopp, dude. Plus 1 point for him. If this is the first thing I get after everything since Dressrosa, which is absolutely insane, I'm not horribly mad at it. At least he lands a direct headshot on a Holy Knight and blows their top half off. Like, the fact that this had the ability to do this much damage to somebody, you know, decent, bro. I'll give you that, dude. Like I said in the last chapter, these 4 Straw Hats have nothing on Gunko, dude. They can't win this fight. We saw that right here. Every one of them threw an attack, and all they did was hit each other. Like they have no chance. They genuinely have no chance. It's a random encounter. You think Luffy would get spun around by Gunko too? I think Luffy would get spun around for a second, but I think Luffy 100% has a better chance of winning than these 4. I think Luffy would be smart enough. I mean, so don't get me wrong. He'd catch a couple hits. Luffy's the king of getting his ass beat before he wins. So I'm not going to deny that Luffy ain't catching some strays here. But once he figures out how her power works, I think he'd have so much fun with it. I think he would start using her directional powers against her because he would enjoy spinning around and doing all the goofy things. She wasn't there to fight. She was there for Colin. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that really is it, dude. She grabbed him up, and she's just doing enough to stop them. I think next chapter, for sure, we're going to see her flying away with Colin. We inch ever closer to that theory being just completely and utterly confirmed, which I'm super excited for, man, because at least since we've been theory crafting on the level that we've been doing, this will be our first official, like, full-blown prediction that has come true, so I'm really, really hype on that. She would have washed the entire crew. If it was there, she'd have done the same exact thing she did here. No. So I agree with you, but the rest of, like Zoro, Sanji, and Luffy would have been able to chase her. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, when she takes Colin and chooses to fly away, like, Luffy and Sanji can both basically fly. So, like, they can just go after her immediately. And Zoro is lit enough to be able to jump after her and get there as well. None of these Straw Hats are, like, lit enough to actually follow her. That's really what my thing is. I'm not denying that she wouldn't have gotten Colin one way or another. I think you're right about that. No matter whether it was all the Straw Hats or just these 4, she was pulling up and successfully getting Colin and getting him off that ship. But Luffy literally could have just yoink, grabbed her, pulled her right back, and then the real fight ensues. You know what I'm saying? And then if it's Zoro and Sanji, Sanji can airwalk all the way up to her, give her... Actually, Sanji wouldn't fucking hit her, so Sanji is actually useless. God damn it. But Zoro would cut that bitch in half. like in a heartbeat, and almost killed Colin while he's doing it. So like Law was able to overpower Doc Q's Devil Fruit with Haki. What if Luffy does the same because this type of power directly conflicts with Luffy's freedom? Bro, I actually love that connection, Sam. All right, let's cook on that for a second. So if Law can just use his like Haki bursts to completely overpower all the Devil Fruit abilities that Doc Q had affected him and his crewmates with, here on the island, we have all these crazy monsters roaming around and just turning up. If Luffy truly does go like full maxed out Gear 5, he could potentially use his like pressure output of like Conqueror's Haki to potentially just immediately destroy all of these like made up monsters floating around and like one shot every single bit of that. So then we would have to just directly fight these holy knights and not the manifestations that they're creating. Dude, I love that idea. I like that a lot, actually, man. Yeah, dude, this whole regeneration thing, man, I don't know what we got to do to get around it. I really don't. Like, manga-wise, we have yet to see any distinctive way for someone who is not Emu to kill a Gorosei. And if this power also goes to the Holy Knights, then holy shit, dude, this army is a problem. The Holy Knights are a much bigger problem than I was saying they were, and I feel like people thought I was overestimating them in the first place. I'm telling y'all, I posted this video like within the last week because somebody asked me a really good question of how I thought News Morgans was going to continue fitting into this story. And I genuinely believe at this moment, like to carry on with our Gunko stealing Colin successfully and getting off of Elbaf, I think News Morgans is going to pick up on the information that the Holy Knights have attacked Elbaf in general, potentially up to the point of, and they took Colin, the son of a former left hand of the former Pirate King. Like all that kind of info could fully get disseminated with News Morgans. And with our Straw Hats entering a chase with the Holy Knights back to Marijois to go trigger this actual massive war we have going, News Morgans will be the one to get the good word out. He's not necessarily doing it because he's an ally of the Straw Hats, but because it's an incredibly good story, right? And also, he does have VV on the team, so he is, for all intents and purposes, at least leaning towards the Straw Hat side of all of this. But he's going to spread the word, and what is that word going to do? A, it's going to inform the revolutionaries that the Holy Knights have officially made their move, and that's what Dragon is sitting at his desk waiting for. He said, we will make our move when the Holy Knights make their move. They've made their move, baby. Now we just need to inform the revs that it happened, so then they can like actually start moving and doing something about it. That also will in turn inform the rest of the entire Straw Hat Grand Fleet that we are making moves towards Marijois. And that will trigger just the announcement of, hey, everybody, it's time to pull up. Everyone mobilize, get your shit together. We'll see you at Marijois. And then the big fight's going to start. And then everything's going to pop off. I really am getting like just more and more excited for that. And I think News Morgans is going to be the one just to simply get the word out. Do exactly what he's been doing the whole time. Who is the person that might owe the Heart Pirates a favor? Law saved Luffy. Oh, shit. Law saved Luffy during Marineford. Maybe Law will be like, I saved your homeboy, save me. Oh, my goodness. Lena, that's a great point. So Law actually teams up with Shanks because Shanks has at least enough respect for him because he saved Luffy all the way back at Marineford. That's actually really, really, I love that idea. I love that idea. What about Shanks? He's going to get the One Piece and fight Luffy in the end for it. That's what I fully agree, or what I fully think, Menos. I think Shanks is going to get the One Piece first. And then Luffy's final fight technically would be Shanks. But then Blackbeard's going to find a way to fuck that up. And probably kill Shanks in front of Luffy. Luffy's going to completely snap. And we're going to get fully maxed out Luffy versus fully maxed out Blackbeard for the final fight. And it's going to be dummy crazy. Law and Shanks meet up at Wano. Dude, that would be insane. If they went back to Wano, I mean, that could be, oh my god, they go back to Wano, and that's when they tap in with Yamato, because this whole time Yamato's been building his crew, so then now Yamato actually has a pirate crew of its own as well. Dude, that'd be crazy. Shanks isn't outright on anybody's side, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I could see Lena's point of, like, Law having helped Luffy, and that's why Shanks is willing to help Law. Shanks isn't one to just outright help people for the sake of it. He's not out here doing good for the sake of doing good. Not to say that he's a bad guy, but he's a pirate. He's out here doing pirate things, living his pirate life. I mean, how the hell is Robin and Chopper going to survive the situation? Because now it's, I mean, like Saul falls right here. Saul is done. So what's immediately next? I mean, like Chopper could go Monster Point. And honestly, I feel like the bigger you are, the more susceptible to damage you are with someone like Sommers. I think being small is a better advantage against Sommers than being large. Floof point. Oh my, dude. Chopper could be a fantastic challenge to Sommers with his fluffy chopper point, for real. Because with that, the thorns of these spikes might not be able to reach his actual body. So on the very minimum bit, if they're sitting in like a sea of brambles right now, which it kind of looks like they are in this top corner and all that, it looks like a large amount of their surroundings are covered with brambles. For them to get out, Chopper puts Robin into like his little floof point thing, and he can like low-key just roll out of it. Like, that could actually be a way that they at least escape this. They're gonna have to wait for Sommers to walk away. I think Sommers is gonna go ahead and walk away from this point, but yeah, because they just can't directly fight him. There's no way. Again, I hate saying this over and over again, but they just don't stand a chance. Robin, even in her demon form, I don't think could do anything against what Sommers has going on. But Chopper, in his little floof point form, could at least defend against it long enough to maybe get away for some reason. I could even see them literally rolling off the tree branch and falling into the underworld from here. That could be what happens. That could actually be what happens. And then it puts Chopper and Robin even... No, it doesn't put them farther... Oh, man. Okay, brain blast right here. Here we go. Call me Jimmy Neutron. So Chopper puts Robin in a little floof ball, and then they have to roll off this branch. When they roll off the branch, they fall down to the underworld. Who's in the underworld right now? But Luffy and Loki and Zoro and Sanji, our big boys. And Robin can inform them, like, bros, it is bad, so bad. Like, I just watched Saul die for the second frickin' time. I'm having a horrible time over here on Elbaf. Take me home, Mom. I'm not having fun. Like... that for real could be it, and that's how Chopper and Robin join back up with Luffy and them, and they get the information of like, yo, y'all really need to get up here on these upper levels and do some work. And dude, Sanji will lose it seeing Robin struggling with this. That's exactly right. Then Luffy goes full crash out mode, and Sanji goes full crash out mode, and low-key Zoro's just down. You know, like with the way Zoro be protecting Robin throughout this series, Zoro will also be, I mean, like, all of them will have their own reason for being vehemently angry about this. Guys, that low-key could really, really happen. I feel pretty good about that. Good looks, Jet. What a good mention, bro, with Chopper's floof ball, man. That really is crazy. I love it. I love it, man. I guess one thing we really haven't spoken heavily about post this is the moment with Killingham, just like finding the transponder pill bug. But just like more importantly, we technically see him throwing an actual attack. And it's interesting that his attack is like corner, nice, hard corner. Like, I'm trying to figure out like what that reference is. That feels, I mean, well, him saying corner specifically makes me feel like I'm in a restaurant and I'm like, you know, calling corners so someone doesn't run into me while I'm holding 75 plates. And we have seen him doing food stuff, so maybe he does have like a food aesthetic that he likes to follow that we just haven't seen enough of yet. Sam. But especially with that hard corner, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not totally sure. That also kind of to me feels like a button mashing combo for like a fighting game, you know, like you know, up, down, left, right type shit. Obviously, I don't feel like they would have used corners. And I'm not so sure about like the nice part or the hard. I mean, I'm just very, very intrigued by like, what is this fighting style? Like what do you have going on here? But obviously, he's freaking mollywopping these guys. I mean, it's so brutal, dude. Killingham used a dream to summon a corner rack to drop the principal on. Wait, is that actually what he did? Is that what you're thinking? Interesting. Honest to God, maybe that is actually what he did. I didn't even put that together. See, that's why I struggle with like reading the manga. Like, I won't catch little things like that. That's actually a good look. Word, guys. I think that's about it, dude. I loved the showing of Gunko in general. I love just seeing her really actually fight and how she can do it. And she didn't simply use her own powers or like her powers to have everyone fight themselves. She also landed her own physical blows. Not like it's too crazy, but she kicked the absolute heck out of Nami and kneed Usopp in the face to oblivion. Usopp got another broken nose. He actually doesn't. His nose didn't break this one time, which is crazy. You think the Mark of Abyss links you to Emu? I agree with that, Jet. That would probably give us our explanation as to why Gunko can just heal herself, and i.e. the Gorosei and the Holy Knights. If you have the Abyss Mark, you're able to travel through the Abyss Realm or whatever they're calling it. That basically gives you a direct link to Emu, and that is how they are able to have these regenerative powers and things along those lines. I can absolutely see that, and that is a demonstration of Emu's power in that moment, not Gunko's power themselves. What do I think of people thinking Gunko is Emu in disguise? That's like the worst theory I've ever heard in my entire life, bro. I'm not even gonna hold you. Why would Emu enter the fray like this? Why would Emu want to disguise themselves? Why would Emu be on a simple fodder mission of going and stealing children from a faraway country when Emu has bigger fish to fry and literally has minions that Emu has created themselves to go do these things for them? Absolutely not. I don't think there's any validity to that particular theory. We don't have any legitimate reasons why or tangible connections for that outside of it just being a genuine what if with absolutely no context. Just because that arrow, I mean, I do feel you on that there is that connection, but I really do think that Emu is going to have all the abilities of the Holy Knights that we see in some capacity. I think there's going to be something along those lines. I think there's something to the fact that Emu has blessed these people with these abilities, whether it's through a devil fruit or it's through these odd magical abyss potential powers that we don't fully understand. But I will not be surprised if we end up seeing Emu being able to do some level of, because like, all right, hear me out. What if the power transfer goes both ways? Okay, so Gunko, as their own separate entity, completely and utterly ate the arrow fruit and became an arrow woman. Then Gunko got the abyss mark put on them by Emu, and in doing so, Emu gets a connection directly to Gunko and vice versa. So Gunko gets the regenerative powers that Emu has, but Emu also gets the devil fruit abilities that Gunko has. So what if we end up seeing Emu also have the thorn fruit, or maybe the dream fruit, or some kind of amalgamation of all of these different powers separately? And maybe it's not like a full version of it, maybe it's like a thinner version or something like that, but like that could be fucking crazy, man. Menos, I can't stop cooking, bro. I can't. You guys are giving me all the brain blast. I mean, it's all you guys. Y'all ask the question and we just start riffing, dude. I love it. Emu has nightmares, etc., connected powers, deadlines. Okay, and kaiju and arrows of fate, but Luffy has like the dreams, like the powers that are manifested through dreams. I could see you on that. Or that has all powers and Blackbeard learned a bit of it. Dude, that could be another thing too. Like that's why Blackbeard for some reason has this ability to have a multitude of powers, is Blackbeard knows a little bit of information that we don't know about maybe the magical side of things or the origin side of things. So Blackbeard in some capacity is able to tap into a multitude of like different powers and stuff like that. It's interesting. Like, Blackbeard is like Kabuto and was able to figure out the powers on his own, yeah. But, like, Dream, Happy, Creative, Free, that kind of stuff, Luffy would have access to. I see you, bro. I see you. Emu has nightmares, yep. Luffy dreams, Emu nightmares. You like that theory. I do love that. Like, I think that is an absolute connection one way or another. Whether we're cooking in the right direction or the wrong direction, I think that will be the core of the relationship between Luffy and Emu, without a doubt, is dreams and nightmares. I fully feel that. Or Emu has a power that can use the powers of everyone marked with the Abyss mark. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm getting at. That's exactly. If Emu puts his mark on you, Emu has a way to use your abilities. Well, guys, that's all we got for the most recent chapter, 1146. Another banger, and we inch ever closer to more theories being confirmed with Gunko and all of that. A lot more epic content in general. I love it to death. As always, guys, drop a comment. Let me know what your theories and what you and your friends have been cooking up with what's about to happen with One Piece. The full unedited version of this stream will be on Patreon at the time of upload. The link is down there. If you would like to join the streams when we do this live every week, they are on Sundays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The links are all below. Come hang out with us. Tell the people you love them. Touch some grass, drink some water, and we will see you next week for another chapter of One Piece.